today's Unit 3 class. Everybody, guys, girls, all of y'all, today we will not be starting a new lesson. Okay, for the month, for first term, what we had to complete, we have completed. Okay, out of the 16 topics as in from topic 12 to topic 16. Okay, we have 6 topics in Unit 3. We have completed topic 12, topic 13, topic 14. Okay. And 15, 16 will be what will be done when we come back after December. Yeah, so everybody, what I was telling you all was topic 12, topic 13, topic 14, we are done with. 15, 16, we started in December. Okay, right. Now, everybody, today we will be only doing the past paper questions that we haven't answered. We will be answering it today. And I don't think we'll finish all of them today. So maybe next week again, we'll do the remaining. Okay. Right. Everybody, I have noted down a few questions over here. Also, guys, after the break today, we'll attempt our online quiz for topic 14. We'll attempt that also after the break today. Okay. The last 20 minutes, I'll keep it for the online quiz. Okay. Right. Everybody, now over here, if you all can look at my screen over here, and if you can move down to question number, topic 14, part 3, question 3. Topic 14, part 3, question 3, please. Can we have a look at that, please? Topic 14, part 3, question. So we go all the way down. And by the way, everybody, all do know, right? Unit 4, our syllabus in Unit 4 is done. Okay, our syllabus in Unit 4 is pretty much done. So we're only doing past papers from now on, which means for your term exam last week of November, it will be an entire Unit 4 past paper. Unit 3 will be selected questions, but for Unit 4, I'm just going to pick a random past paper and give it to you all. Okay, I'm not going to be making any changes to it. Just pick a past paper and give you all as your exam. Okay, so everybody, we are moving down now. Question number 3 over here. Okay, a 6-marker question. Okay. It says over here, everyone are you all with this? Guys, girls, everybody online, can you all come over here? It says over here, a company operates several car parks in a city. Car park attendants collect parking fees at the entrance to each park. The company wants to replace this manual system with an automatic one. Okay, currently what do they have? Currently they have a manual system to record who comes and parks and charges them and things like that. They want to move into an automated one. You guys have seen automated car parking spaces? Okay, if you look at the malls in Sri Lanka, many of them are now having an automated system, but there is still a few security guards just to monitor the system, ensure nothing goes wrong, isn't it? Okay, the company intends to use the pilot changeover method to change from the manual to the automated system. Do you understand that? They want to change, but they plan to go with the pilot changeover. How does pilot changeover work? So we learned 5 different changeover methods. One of them was called pilot. How does pilot work? The entire new system is implemented on one particular branch generally. The whole new system is implemented on one part of the company. One part generally means a particular branch. Okay. So generally they would choose the branch that has the, what do you call, smallest number of customers or the least traffic entering that branch. Okay, that's generally the branch that they will choose to test the new system on. Okay, that's what we mean by pilot. Okay, you're going to implement this whole system on maybe one particular branch only. And then depending on the performance in that branch, you will then start implementing it across other branches. So keep reading it, guys. Discuss the benefits and drawbacks of using pilot changeover method in this context. So you all know the situation right now. You all know it's a car parking business. Okay, they have a manual system. They want to go into automation. They want to go into an automated system. So how would you deal with this? What are your benefits? What are your drawbacks? We are getting a total of 6 marks now. There is no fixed number of points, but let us have a fixed number of points. So shall we have about, I don't know. It's like this. If you are going to support this method saying it's a good move, have more benefits than drawbacks. But if you are going to say, you know what, this is not a good move, have more drawbacks than benefits. Okay, so what shall we do over here? So everyone, I'll just take a new this thing. Well, I'll just mention it over here. What do you guys think? Tell me below. What are the benefits, drawbacks you all can think of? I'll just put benefits over here. We're doing a mind map over here of going from pilot to, of using the pilot changeover method. Risk is minimized because if the system fails, only one branch is going to be affected. Okay. Risk is minimized since only one branch will be affected. Okay. Anything else you can tell me? Everybody in pilot changeover, Gosant, anything else? Number, so this is very true. You're minimizing your risk by restricting it to only one branch. Any other benefit? Can we say something like this? This changeover method allows you to test the entire system. Okay? It allows you, it's not a very good benefit, but we can mention this. I'll just mention allows testing of all features within the new system, within the automated system. Right. Something else? Every time this system is taken to a new branch, is the new branch going to get a better version of the new system? That's going to happen, right? Now you start with one branch. Now before you implement in the second branch, you'll be making certain changes before implementing in the second branch. So every branch is going to get a better version of this new system. Okay? You can say every branch gets a better automate or gets a better system. I'll just say for now. This is my mind map, not my final answers. Give me one more benefit. What do you think? Sandhu, all of y'all? What are the other benefits? Dishan? Can you say gradually training of staff would take place? Not really, no, because an entire new branch needs to use it now. Okay, we'll have a look at the drawbacks then. Tell me, what do you see as problems here, boys? What are some of the problems you see here? Yes, boys. In pilot changeover, what are the problems you see over here? So how many systems, Dishan, do we have running here in total of the company? We have 2 systems, which means compatibility issues could come up, right? Okay, so you could say since 2 different systems are being used across the company, compatibility issues may come up. Okay, so for example, the earnings from this branch, which is using the new system, its earnings may not be, what do you call, you may not be able to add its earnings with all the other branches because you have 2 different systems over here. You may have compatibility issues. Okay, all right. Any other problems here? Your running cost is also going to be high, right? The company is going to have a higher running cost because they have 2 systems running. They'll have to pay. They'll have to pay for 2 databases. They'll have to pay for what you call more storage space because 2 systems are running. Okay, so you can say high running costs because 2 systems are running. You understand what I mean by 2, right? In one branch, we have implemented the new system, but all the other branches are using the old system. So this company, this car parking company, they are still running 2 systems. Okay. Any other problems? If the system fails, what's going to happen? Customers are going to get frustrated. If the new system at this particular car park, it might be a small crowd only. But what could happen? Generally, when do we put reviews? When problems happen, only we put reviews, right? We start talking about a business when there are problems. Very rarely, when things are all right, very rarely we talk about them. We only talk about them when there are problems. Okay, so we can say problems in the new system can lead to angry customers leaving the business permanently. Okay, or what do you call spreading rumors about the business. Okay, So everybody, are we going to go with this is a good changeover method, or are we going to go with, you know what, not a good changeover method? Very true. Every branch conditions are not the same, right? In every branch, the conditions are not the same. Maybe, number one, guys, in certain branches, the number of car parking slots will not be the same, isn't it? Then, for example, the type of vehicles that they allow to come and park may not be the same. Then, for example, the charging fee across all branches may not be the same, isn't it? Then the car parking locations, one car park may have only, what do you call, one car parking area. Another branch may have 2-3 car parking areas, and the price varies from car park to car park. Certain car parks, they may charge a flat fee. No matter how many hours you park here, we charge you a flat fee. Certain car parks, they might charge you by the hour. You get it? So the conditions in every car park will not be the same. The variables in every car park will not be the same. So can you properly, what do you call, believe the results that you get out of one particular branch? Okay, so you can say the results that are received may not be accurate or may not be similar to other branches, due to various factors. Okay, now when you write our answer, we'll talk about this. Okay, let's start writing our answer, guys. Enough. So shall I go with more benefits or more drawbacks? Because they have said over here what? Discuss the benefits and drawbacks of using the pilot changeover method in this context. So what shall I do over here? You want to just keep it balanced. Keeping it balanced is not a good idea because we're doing a discussion. What shall I do over here? If you have a look at the marking scheme, guys, girls, question number 3. Have a look at question number 3, marking scheme. Another answers, I mean, how they have expected you to write your answer. So here they say, demonstrate accurate and relevant knowledge and understanding throughout. You know what this means? No, you present a point, you have an explanation, you have an example if possible. Okay, this is what you mean by accurate, relevant knowledge, and you have an understanding of it. Applies understanding coherently one after the other to produce a balanced and fully developed discussion. Okay, so they haven't mentioned about having a conclusion over here, right? Okay, they haven't mentioned about having a conclusion over here, and they have mentioned it should be balanced, isn't it? To produce a balanced discussion. So then we'll go with 2 benefits, 2 drawbacks then. Okay, sometimes in discussion questions, they expect us to have a conclusion. Okay, now here they have said, if they have produced a balanced, what do you call, discussion, you can give them, how do they score 5 to 6 marks? This is how they score 5 to 6 marks. Over here, they have told you how you score your 5 to 6 marks. Shall we get started then? So we'll have 2 benefits, 2 drawbacks then. So let's get started then, everyone. So we'll start off with benefits maybe. What shall we start off with? We'll start off with the risk. So can you all first tell what pilot changeover is all about? You can say pilot changeover is a method where pilot changeover is a method where a company will implement, where this company will implement its automated car parking system. Or don't say car park, it doesn't car park, it collects the fees, right? It's automated system in one, will implement its complete automated system in one particular branch. And then based on its performance in this branch, it will then be gradually implemented in other branches as well. Okay, depending on its performance, okay, it will then be gradually implemented in other branches as well. So then we'll talk about the risk. You're minimizing your risk. Okay. In pilot changeover, risk of the new system failing is mitigated. You know what mitigated means, right? You're managing it by what? Risk of the new system failing is mitigated by limiting it to only one particular branch. Okay, risk of the new system failing is mitigated by limiting it to only one particular branch. Okay, so only one branch is going to be affected. The risk exists only for one particular branch. Shall we immediately bring in the drawback also to this? What is the drawback? If it were to fail, if it were to fail, you may permanently lose customers. Okay. However, if the new system were to fail, it could easily lead to very angry customers who may permanently leave the business, and spread what? Rumors. Rumors are not, and spread bad reviews about the company and spread very angry customers who may permanently leave this business and spread bad reviews about the company as a whole. Okay. So when customers have a bad experience with one particular branch, they may blame the whole company, not that particular branch. They might say, you know what, this whole company, okay, are crooks, you know. They overcharged us, they overpriced us, they couldn't serve us when we needed. Okay. Then let's move on to another benefit. Okay. Another benefit that we can talk about is allows testing of all features within the automated system. Every branch gets a better system. Shall we go to that? And then we can connect it with the results that may not be similar. Okay. Yeah. So we can mention this down. You can then say in pilot, you can say in pilot changeover, since the new system will initially be implemented in only one branch, okay, the performance of the system can be evaluated and improved before implementing on other branches. Okay. So every other branch gets a better version of this new automated system. So every other branch gets a better version of this new automated system. In pilot changeover, since the new system will initially be implemented in only one branch, the performance can be. Okay, but we do have a problem over here. The variables, the factors, the conditions across all branches will not be the same. Each car park will have some differences in them. Okay. Some car parks might be so small that, one user is enough to manage the system. Some car parks, you might have to have many users. Okay. Then, for example, some car parks, the charging rates vary. In some car parks, you have a flat fee. In some car parks, you charge them per hour. In some car parks, you have what you call day pass, month pass, year pass, things like that might exist. Some car parks may want to have a loyalty scheme. You never know. Okay. My problem here is, guys, I don't have space for examples. But if you can give examples, this is what the examiner means by thorough understanding. You have a thorough, you have examples to support your answer. Okay, so for none of the points, we put examples, okay, because no space. But examples are the best way to convince the examiner you have a thorough understanding of what you're talking about. Okay, so I'll go and say, but, however, I already used no, but not every car park will have the same conditions. Okay, but not every car park will have the same conditions. So the results received from one car park may not be applicable to another car park. Okay. Some car parks, they might be so small that at the entrance, they don't need to display how many parking slots are available. As you enter the car park, you can see how many are available. But some car parks, they might have multiple floors. So at the entrance, they may need to show how many spots are available. So the system will need to support that particular feature. Okay. So that's why we said not every car park will have the same conditions. The results received from one car park may not be applicable to another. Right. Everybody, shall we move away from here? Okay, so this is how we answer, guys. We have a lot more questions to go through. I don't think I can finish them all today, but I hope you all are in the mood to keep writing. Okay, and boys behind, you all need to be answering. Looking down is not gonna work. Okay, come on, you all need to give a try. Something done? Okay, then everybody, I'm gonna move away from here to question number 5. Question 3 is done. We now move on to question 5. So question 5 talks about another, no, it's a 2-marker question. Data backup is part of the retailer's disaster recovery plan. Remember, we spoke about this, risk management, disaster recovery. Okay. So the data backup is a part of the disaster recovery plan. In case of a disaster, how do we come back to normal? Backing up data is one of the actions that happens inside disaster recovery. Okay. Each bookstore each bookshop backs up its data locally within the building and at an external data center. Explain why the dual backup process is needed. So they do 2 backups. One is data is backed up within the bookstore itself and kept. Another backup is happening outside somewhere else. So why do we need both? Yes, Sandaru and Ikram. Whatever comes to your mind, tell me. Why would a bookstore go for dual backup? Why do they need to have a backup in store, what do you call locally, and another one externally? Most probably they mean cloud storage. Data gets lost how? Huh? So how would data get lost? What do you mean by data getting lost? What could happen for data to get lost? Sandaro? To reduce traffic? No, we're talking about backing up. I didn't talk about improving the performance. We're talking about here specifically disaster recovery. If you spoke about performance, I would agree with you. We're talking about disaster recovery. Think about the disasters that can happen, and because of that, you will have data at two different locations. Okay, could you give me a disaster that could destroy it? An earthquake, a tsunami, a flood. Okay. Malware attacks, what are these? Okay, so you can, yes, you can start off with this. You can say this is done because in case of a disaster such as a flood, such as a tsunami, such as an earthquake, pick any one of them, you don't have so much of space. Okay, the bookshop store could be physically damaged, leading to all its data also being damaged. So it would need all its data also backed up in another location so it can, what do you call, resume business, restore operations immediately. You guys get my point? So let's mention this over here. You can say it is very much possible. It is very much possible for the bookshop, for the bookshop's building to be affected by a natural disaster such as flooding, which can lead to damaging all their hardware equipment. Okay, so by having all their data backed up at a different location as well, by having all their data backed up at an external location, okay, it would make it a lot easier for the bookshop to restore its operations. Okay, for the bookshop to restore its operations. Okay, once you're done, can you all read question 5's marking scheme? Malware attacks could also take place. Yes, you could also mention that. Okay, another disaster that could, now we are gone with natural disaster now. Another disaster that could take place is the data in their local data that they have stored locally could get affected by malware. Okay, which could be a major loss for them. But they can restore operations, they can recover quickly because they have an exact copy of this data stored in an external data center as well. Okay, it can reduce the amount of time they need to recover. Everyone read question number 5 marking scheme as well. I'm also going to have a look at it. So question 5 mentions that, yeah, pretty much what we have said, no? Yeah, pretty much everything that we have said. Okay. Everybody, if you can just improve this answer over here, I know they all have space, which can lead to damaging all their hardware equipment. Okay, which can lead to damaging all their hardware equipment, leading to loss of data or something. If you can, that loss of data we haven't mentioned, no? They can lose their data, which can lead to damaging all their hardware equipment and loss of all data. Okay. Right. The factory needs a disaster recovery plan for its IT systems. Once again, have I told to do this today? Yes, I have taken this down. The factory needs a disaster recovery plan for its IT systems. Describe one way in which the factory could prepare for a disaster that destroys the hardware and software IT systems in its main building. Hardware, software, everything is damaged. So what can a factory do as a disaster recovery plan? How could the factory prepare? We just did this earlier also. What could they do? A factory knows one of the risks that they can identify is, you know what? This area could get flooded easily. Once it gets flooded, all our electrical equipment is going to get damaged. And there is a high chance of us losing our data. So this is what we are going to do to deal with it. So what could their disaster recovery plan be? Plan B, yeah. How could they prepare for such a have backup hardware software in a completely separate location, right? Have another location, have what they call a parallel site or a hot site. You know what hot site means? A place which can be immediately taken over. You can immediately continue operations from that site. It's called a hot site. Or you call it a parallel site. Parallel site means both are running together. Whatever changes you make in the factory, those same changes will get applied to your external center as well. Okay, you can call it parallel, you can call it a hot site. A hot site means it has everything up and ready to be used whenever you need it. So big companies like Microsoft and all that, they have hot sites. Hot sites are where one of their data centers go down, immediately the other data center will take over. It's equipped and it has all the programs and software and hardware to take over whenever needed. Okay, so shall we talk about this? They could deal, you can say, describe one way in which the factory could prepare. You can say they can have a hot site, okay, which is located separately away from the factory, which contains all the hardware and software for the factory's IT system. They can have a hot site which is located separately away from the factory. It obviously can't be in the same place, which contains all the hardware and software for the factory's IT system. So in case the factory is affected by a natural disaster, the hot site would always be ready to take over operations immediately or with minimum delay. So in case a factory is affected by a natural disaster, the hot site would always be up and ready to take over operations immediately. So many of the large data centers, they have hot sites. They are running and they'll only be used in case of a natural disaster. In case of something unexpected taking place, then these hot sites will take over. Okay. All right, let's move on to question number 7 then. With that, we'll come to the end of topic 14. There are still some more, as you can see, which I will take over, which I will do next week. Okay. All right, let's move on to question number 7, everybody. The retailer is reviewing its IT governance and policies. Discuss the need for and features of risk management and disaster recovery policies. Okay. It has two parts. Everyone, look at boys, look at the question first. There are two parts here: risk management, disaster recovery here. And then inside that also we have two parts. One is the need, and the next is what are the features. So everybody, shall we just first attempt it on our own? So I'm going to erase all this. Everybody, when it comes to risk management, first tell me what is it? Why do we need risk management? Why do we have risk management? There were three things, right? There are four things, sorry. You identify, you measure the impact, isn't it? And then you come up with risk mitigation. So why are we doing all this? Risk management exists to identify potential risks and try to come up with solutions to reduce the impact or to manage the risk. Okay, so shall we first talk about this? Used to, I'll just put it in simple words, used to identify potential risks, potential risks and ways of mitigating them. Then in disaster recovery, what do we have as disaster recovery, guys? So here again, identifying potential disasters and how to recover immediately if it were to happen. Identifying potential. Actually, you don't identify a disaster, you come up with a plan on how you're going to come back to it. Okay. Disaster recovery plan is creating plans on how to restore operations ASAP. You know what that means, no? Operations ASAP. Okay. How are we going to bring operations back to normal as soon as possible? So under risk management, guys, what are the features we had? You remember we had a box where we had medium, what do you call low, medium, high impact? No, we had don't you remember the box I showed you all? Probability of it happening, impact of it. And we had given different numbers: low, very unlikely, likely, low, medium, high, severe. What were we calling that? Risk matrix, right? We had a risk matrix to identify the priority, or to identify the priority to be given. Okay. Something else? Measuring risk impact. Another one we had was measuring likelihood, measuring likelihood of risk. Okay. Then another one obviously should be finding ways to mitigate it. Okay. These were the, what do you call, features of risk management. What are the features of disaster recovery? We are talking about how to come back to normal. So obviously, what do you have to do? We just did so many questions on it. You need to carry out regular backups. Okay. Data backup plan. What else? One is you'll have a data backup plan. What else would you have? Action team, remember who is responsible for what? Okay, you will have an action team. You will define responsibilities. Who is responsible for what? Okay, something else? You will have a plan. What should you be doing with that plan? Approve it, and it should be documented, right? Regularly updated. Okay, documented plan, which is regularly updated. Look at your notes even and tell me, will boys, you're not saying anything. Give me one more. Anything else? You remember we had two metrics, RPO and RTO. Recovery time objective was RTO, the maximum amount of time that a system can be down for. And RPO was recovery point objective, the maximum amount of data that a company can afford to lose. It's all based on how often they are backing up their data. The maximum amount of data a company can afford to lose in case of a disaster. RPO and RPO should be defined. RPO and RTO should be defined. Okay, that's enough, guys. Let's start writing our answer now. So let's mention over here. Or why don't you have a look at the marking scheme? But before we start writing our answer, just one quick look at the marking scheme. Is there anything that we should have spoken and we didn't speak about? Process for making backups we spoke. Process for restoring we didn't speak about, no? Identification of key personals we mentioned. Pretty much there are a few answers we haven't spoken about. Okay. Right, they have said categorization of risks. I said risk matrix. Okay, right, everybody, let's get started then. Let's start writing our answer. So over here, let's get moving. So we'll mention 2 for risk management, 2 for disaster recovery. Okay, so how shall we get started? Risk management is the process of identifying potential risks, and mitigating these risks. In order to do this, the following features are used. In order to carry this out, risk management contains the following features. So we'll talk about 2 features only. Feature number 1 is identifying risks. Okay. Identifying potential risks. Okay. And then identifying potential risks that could occur. And then going on and then measuring the likelihood of these identified risks occurring. Once the above is done, a risk matrix can be created in order to identify the severity of each risk. Okay, once the above is done, a risk matrix can be created in order to identify the severity of each risk. A risk matrix measures what? Measures likelihood and impact of each risk. A risk matrix measures likelihood and impact of each risk. Not measures, it records, no? It records. It doesn't measure, no? It records likelihood and impact of each risk. Then let's talk about disaster recovery plan. Disaster recovery policies are used to help an organization or business. Which one did we use? To help a business, to help an organization come back to normal, come back to normal operations as soon as possible when a disaster occurs. Okay, disaster recovery policies are used to help an organization come back to normal operations quickly or as soon as possible when a disaster occurs. The following features are used in disaster recovery policies. What would they be? A backup plan would obviously be there. A clearly defined backup plan, which mentions when backup takes place, who backs up the data, where is it going to be stored, who has access to it. So many things. I'll mention only 2 or 3. Okay, a clearly defined backup plan which mentions when backups would be done, where would it be stored, and there are some more, but I'll stop here. And how often would backups be carried out? Okay. Then let's mention RTO and RPO, and I'll stop with that. Next, recovery point objective would define the maximum amount of data a company can afford to lose in the case of a disaster, and recovery time objective would define the maximum amount of time a company's system can go down for. Okay. Right. So guys, I'm stopping part topic 14, part 3. We'll go on to topic boys, girls, I'm removing all this. Topic 14, part 2, question 6 and 7. You all are done with this, boys behind? Right. I'm saving this and I'm closing it. I'm closing the marking scheme also. Topic 14, part 2. So here I'm supposed to be doing question number 6 and 7. Question 6 and question 7. A company runs a large chain of grocery shops. The company uses a management information system, okay, to store and analyze financial data from all the shops. The information is used to prepare reports for external agencies such as tax authorities. Okay, so using this system, guys, using the management information system, they are able to prepare reports, generate reports for agencies outside the business, such as tax authorities. Okay. All right. Can everyone keep reading it? Describe two other ways in which the company could use the management information system. This is the management information system for a grocery store. They're giving you 4 marks. How would you answer this? Management system typically used by whom? Managers, exactly. Managers are using. And who are managers? These are people who have to make decisions, right? These are people who have to make decisions. Okay, operational level decisions they have to make. Okay, not what you call company-based decisions. These are operational decisions. Okay, for the operational staff, for them, the managers have to make decisions. So how could they use the MIS? You describe 2 other ways. So I'll give you guys, now they have mentioned 1 report. Any other report you can think about? Any other report? Think about managers at Cargill's and Arpic and all. What do you think they would be questioned on? Their performance. Whose performance would they be questioned on? Employees. Okay. So, yeah, they would be questioned because managers are responsible for think about a grocery store. Typically, the cashiers, the salesman will have to report to the manager. And the manager will have to report to somebody above him. And normally, what would he have to say? The performance of his employees. So, what does he need to know to judge the performance of his employees? Ishan, all of you, come on, listen to me, Will, first. How can a manager judge the performance of his employees who are cashiers and salesmen? Salesmen means people working in the store, arranging the shelves, putting items, dealing with customers, the number of sales that have come in through. Okay. So can you connect now? Which system is responsible for sales? No. Transaction processing, right? The TP system can be connected to the MIS system, and then reports can be generated for what? Reports can be generated to, come on guys, you all need to help me here. The transaction processing system, which tracks every sale the supermarket has done or the grocery shop has done, can be connected to the MIS. And then through the MIS, you can generate reports to understand what? The sales, number of sales. Okay, anything else? The growth, yeah, okay, or how much has been earned, or what is our profit, what is our loss, isn't it? So you can say over here, the transaction processing system, the transaction processing system can be connected to MIS, to the MIS, and this can allow the managers to generate reports about number of sales, revenue, number of sales, revenue, what else? Number of sales slash comma revenue, and number of sales, revenue, and refunds that have occurred over a period of time. Okay, so I want to know for in the last month, how many sales we made, how much did we earn, how many refunds did we have. Okay, or I want to know for in the last year, or I want to know from this date to this date, how much have we how many sales have we made, how much have we earned. Okay, right, give me something else that can be, that the MIS can be used for. Something else the MIS can be used for. If you can see the number of sales and how much you have earned, as a manager, what else would you like to know? You want your grocery store to perform the best? No, you need to serve your customers properly. So what would you like to know next? Exactly, customer buying patterns, shopping patterns, what is trending, what is the most popular, what is not being bought anymore. Is it clear? Next, the MIS can be used to identify customer shopping patterns and buying trends. Okay. Next, the MIS can be used to identify customer shopping patterns and buying trends. Okay. Based on this data, the grocery store can decide on what to stock up on. Okay. Based on this data, the grocery store can decide on what to stock up on. The MIS system can also be used to connect to what? Suppliers, keep them informed, to automatically inform them when what? When stocks of a particular product are low. Okay, the management information system can be used for that. Okay. Yes, everyone have a look at the marking scheme also. Please have a look at the marking scheme also. Let me also have a look. I also writing. Okay, I'm sure you'll find more answers than we spoke about. Question number 6, right? Loyalty schemes we didn't speak about. We said looking for trends and all that. We said inventory control. We said management reporting. We said personal human resources, recruitment, managing employees, that we didn't talk about. Okay. What if scenarios, making predictions, that also we didn't say. Everybody, the management information system can be used to make predictions. Okay, you saw the last point. Okay, running what if scenarios or making projections. So far we have sold so much over the last so many months, so we predict in the next few months we can sell so much, or if we were to increase this price by so much, we predict or we can project our sales going down by so much. You get it, guys? They'll have past data with them. They can see when we increase the price, how many people bought it. When we further increase it, how many people still kept buying it. And based on that, they can make a projection about what would happen if they further increase it. Okay. So managing of employees, we didn't see anything at all, no? The marking scheme has mentioned it. They can use the MI system to manage the employees, such as how many hours they have worked. Okay. Things like that can be done. Okay. Guys, did you all see that last point? What have they said over there? What is the structure of the answer? The structure of the answer should be first mention the action that can be performed. Can you all see the last part? They have mentioned how the structure should be. First mention the action that can be performed on the MIS. Then explain what it does for the business. We wrote all our answers that way, right? We first mentioned what can be done on the MIS. Okay, so we said TP system can be connected to the MIS. Then we went to say how it can support the business. Second point also, we did the same thing. MIS can be used to identify customer shopping patterns and buying trends. And then we said how this can be used to support the business. Okay, so they have given you the structure as well, right? Next, guys, I want to do question number 7. Can everyone have a look at question 7? The company uses an intelligent transportation system, okay, to help manage its fleet of delivery vehicles. Describe 2 ways in which ITS can be used to manage the fleet. Everyone, you all know what IT system is, right? ITS is Intelligent Transportation System. Generally, where you can track your vehicles, you can communicate with your vehicles through the internet. Okay? And under ITS, we have something called fleet management. I showed you all videos as well. You have factories, they have many vehicles with them. They need to manage these vehicles properly here. They can't have one person running the show, no. So they use a computerized system to manage all these vehicles. How can they use a computerized system to manage these vehicles? What do you think, guys? Think about kangaroo cabs, guys. They have a huge fleet of taxis. All those taxis belong to them. How can they use ITS, or how can they use a computerized system to manage all these vehicles? Sorry? GPS tracking would be the most obvious feature, right? Obviously, you can track where the vehicle is. Where the vehicle is. Go on, add to my answer. You can track where it is right now. You can also track where it has been, right? Where else it has gone. How many kilometers it has traveled. Is it being used for the right purpose? Or are the employees using it for things that they are not supposed to be using it for? You get my point? Through GPS tracking, you can see where the vehicle has been, right? Where it has been, where it is right now, where it has been. So you can monitor if the vehicle is being used for the purpose it was given to the employees for. Agreed? So shall we get started with that? Okay. GPS tracking within the ITS system can be used to monitor the movement of every vehicle within the fleet. It can be used to ensure the vehicle has only been used for the benefit of the organization. Okay, so you know very well where each driver is supposed to be going to now. So when you go through the GPS tracking, you see he's in a location where he's not supposed to be. Immediately you have an understanding he is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Isn't it? Right, give me one more answer. Can you say the system can be used to manage what? Maintenance of the vehicles, okay? Further, this system can be used to manage the maintenance of this vehicle. So Dishan is only 1 mark. How do you do this? How do you talk about this? Further, this system can be used to manage the maintenance of the vehicles where depending on the their mileage, shall we say, depending on their mileage, automatic notifications can be sent out for various mechanical tasks, shall we say, can be sent out for various mechanical automatic notifications can be sent out to relevant parties for various mechanical, what's the word I said here? For various mechanical tasks, okay, such as oil change, comma, servicing of vehicle, and pumping of fuel. Okay. If the vehicle is being tracked using GPS, and the number of kilometers traveled can also be tracked now. Based on the number of kilometers tracked, it can also, what do you call, track when was the last service done, when was the oil change last, when was fuel pump last, and based on the number of kilometers traveled, it can then prompt. Now it's time for an oil change. Now it's time for servicing of the entire vehicle. Okay, now it's time for pumping of fuel. Read the marking scheme also when you're done with this. Okay, so when I look at the marking scheme, everybody, yeah, again, they have said to monitor engine hours, okay. So route planning, we never spoke about, no? Generating routes for each vehicle to take upon depending on deliveries they have to make. That we didn't talk about, okay. Okay, everybody. Everybody, right, let's keep moving. Let's do one more question over here. I have noted down question number part 2, question 6, question 7 also have we done? Yes, question 6, question 7 both done. Then can we move on to topic 13 part 1, please? Topic 13 part 1. I'm closing this now. We are done with this. Topic 13 part 1, please. Okay, so here topic 13 part 1. Topic 13 part 1, question number 6 again. Question number 6, we come all the way down over here. Yeah, one of the problems with a distributed database is that of concurrency. Concurrency. State what is meant by concurrency. What do you guys know about concurrency? Different. Okay, different outcomes. So can we say different processes being executed at the same time across multiple servers? We normally say nodes, right? You can say servers also, completely all right. We can say nodes. Okay, so concurrency is when multiple actions or when multiple processes are executed across multiple nodes or servers at the same time. Okay, so in today's world, almost all online systems use concurrency. Or if you think about any banking system, okay, you have transactions happening from each and every one of our devices happening at different times, and the data is being updated across multiple servers across the world. Okay, this is an example of concurrency. Okay, when multiple processors, somebody is withdrawing, somebody else is depositing, somebody else is doing a transfer, multiple processors happening across multiple nodes, but all happening at the same time. Explain why concurrency might cause problems with a distributed database, for example. That's the result, right? It can lead to inconsistency of data when, sorry, the result is inconsistencies can easily take place, anomalies can easily take place when on. So everybody, in order for this to work properly, all the servers need to be updated at the same time, isn't it? They all need to be updated simultaneously. A delay in one can lead to what? Can lead to massive inconsistencies, isn't it? And is it possible for delays to take place? Very easily possible for delays to take place, because one is distance. These servers are not next to each other. These servers are across different continents sometimes. They're in different countries, isn't it? Another problem can be processing speed. Not all servers will have the same processing speed. Then not all servers will have the same network bandwidth. You get it? So these are all factors that can lead to delays, and these delays can lead to massive data inconsistencies. Okay, a power failure in one server can lead to data inconsistencies. Okay, so we'll first mention the result. Okay, we can say it can lead to big data inconsistencies, okay, where if one database got delayed, where if one database gets delayed in being updated due to various factors such as high latency or poor bandwidth, or even due to power problems, where if one database gets delayed in being updated due to various factors such as high latency or poor bandwidth, or even due to power problems, it can lead to inconsistent data across the distributed database. Okay. The biggest concern here is data inconsistency. That's the result. So now we spoke about how this result could occur. We have now spoken about how this result could occur. Right. I'm moving away from here. One problem with distributed systems is controlling concurrency. Okay. Give one consequence of poor concurrency. Again, it can lead to massive data inconsistencies. Okay. So the result of poor concurrency can lead to poor data. It can lead to high data. It can lead to high inconsistencies between servers. It can lead to high inconsistencies in data between servers. So each server is giving us a different amount value. Okay. Shall we just have a look at the marking schemes for question 6 and question 7, everybody? Please have a look at the marking scheme for question 6 and question 7. Okay, so they haven't used the word inconsistency. They have used the word like what? They have said could give the wrong answer, they have said. Then they have said database versions may be different. Then they have said loss of integrity. Okay, they haven't used the word inconsistency. They have used other similar words. We simply use the word inconsistency. Okay, but pretty much same as our answers. Read the examples. Okay. Okay. Even question 7, they haven't said they have not said inconsistency. They have said data cannot be guaranteed to be consistent. Same thing. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, you'll get it. Okay. But there are different ways of writing the answer. I want you to go through the marking scheme. Okay. So guys, you're learning new answers as well. Okay. You're learning new answers as well. Otherwise, you guys are just all right. Everybody, time is 11:09. Okay. So everybody, let's do the quiz now then. Okay, let me quickly note down what I did with you all. So I have finished topic 13. We did, no? Topic 13, topic 14. Okay, done. So topic 12, I want to do one more question. I couldn't do that. No worries. I'll bring this up next week. Right, everybody. Guys, girls, let's start our quiz then.